Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chef, and today we're just going to talk about some earning plays, right? Let's talk about this market and the way that it's moving. Some things that are clear in direction, others that are not. Some anticipation here with the big earnings this week, guys, and it's very significant. And the reason being, it's because of all the interest rates, the war, the supply chain from China, and just anything in general, recession, inflation. I mean, it's a big chaotic world, right? And everything is just moving up and down. Some are just moving down and others are ranging, so it gets a little confusing. There's sectors that are moving up and down, some are holding, some are not, and some are like barely hanging on by a thread. So overall picture, we are looking at a volatile market. And I know some of you guys may think, well, what does a volatile mean, right? Volatile just meaning that there's a lot of fear in the market and a lot of up and down movement. Okay, so there's a lot of aggressive movement. The volatility brings in abnormal movements in a stock, right? So the volatility index here, it's the VIX. Okay, this signifies the amount of fear and volatility in the markets, meaning that there's going to be if this thing goes green, there's some intense selling off in the market in general. So the sentiment becomes bearish, and therefore everything that we've talked about, interest rates, recession talks, inflation, and all this other stuff, it's bringing fear in the market. So basically, you don't see anybody buying in the markets in general. So this is why you can't really chart the VIX, because there is no specific number here that's going to define a breakout or a support or anything like that, or a pattern breakout or anything, because it's based on fear. Fear doesn't just come on a daily basis. It comes when there's an economical shift change and economical movements that's being affected, and putting in fear in the market in general. So hopefully you understand that. So taking a look at the VIX this week, we are green, and the week before we're also green, and then now we're just correlating the markets with the S&P 500, right, with / ES. Basically, what we talked about last time is this head and shoulders pattern, right? And everything came out to play perfectly, right? Once we came up here, we talked about the past few weeks, and ever since then, gave you guys a heads up on the head and shoulders, and now look at the results of that head and shoulders pattern that played out. And right here on that doji, we were a little preemptive about it, and we did give a nice warning for everybody that this was going to be either a break above here or create that head and shoulders pattern that's going to be validated, which it did. And then now it's dropping all the way down to this bottom down here. So the target here for ES, and that's kind of like what it is. The good thing and the awesome part about this is that we're kind of still stuck in between this range, and we're kind of just trading here. Okay, so there's no real big movement just yet. The volatility is happening here, and the cool part is that the range here that's being created, we're heading into earnings. There's a lot of volatility that's been happening the past year, and we're 4 months into the year, guys. Understand that we're almost into almost halfway into the year, and this market has just been getting torn up left and right. Mainly a lot of fake outs to the tops, and these tops are being shorted, and the market is just taking a nice hit. But it's okay that we're cooling off right here, okay? So I'm liking the bigger picture. I like that the head and shoulders played out already. I like that the volatility is here in the markets, and I like that we do have a lot of earnings coming up that's going to affect what the movement is going to be like in the near future. And that's something that we got to prepare for, okay? So we're going to take a look at some big names after I just gave you guys a breakdown on / ES. One thing I do hope, okay, it's as crazy as that sounds, I do hope that we do hold here in the markets in general. This bottom of 41, keep it solid number 41. Don't need to go at 41.786 or 40.97 and 0.75, like whatever, who cares, right? keep it a solid number, because psychologically everybody's going to be looking at the same thing. This market is made up of like 90% psychology, so psychological, and everyone out there who looks at the market is going to look at the one same number, and as a whole number you want to round it off and make sense of it, because once you get that break of, or the break below, or the bounce of that whole number, it becomes a relevant number as a support, or as a resistance, and therefore creating a trend below it or above it. So something is going to happen at that specific level. Not this 42. This 42 is not a big thing. It's the 41 right here, this wick. Okay, the bottom right here, this green one right here. So hopefully you guys can see that. Let me just take off this yellow box and give you guys the ideal right here. That is the level that's I really hope we hold here. Okay, now I know the word hope is kind of like a curse word in our vocabulary, but in this case I really do hope we hold here. And the reason for that is because I don't want to see this market just drop any further, right? After this week, if we close down here, I will most likely buy a call and swing it, and that's the risk that I will take. But that's a falling knife, and I'm willing to take that risk at the end of the week. But once we get there, I won't know till that happens, because Friday, let's just say we do get there and Friday we hit 41 and we break below 41 and we drop below it. Therefore, my position will become invalid, and that won't be in a call play. Okay, so it's all going to depend. If we close above 41 on Friday, or just right above it, then I will be in calls at that 41 and use that 41 as a stop loss as well. Can't control what happens overnight, guys. But if this does happen, we have potential to drop even further. This is kind of like the last of the barrel, where you're at the bottom of it, and hey, you're really hoping that it's the end, right? So or the beginning of the end, right? Other than that, guys, if that breaks, it's going to be like, we don't have a lot of support down here, only because it's a staircase pattern. And the staircase pattern that was created in the market happened here without a proper cool off. Okay, a proper cool off now that's happening with the market is right at these top levels here. So that's why I said that I hope that this holds here, this 41 holds as the last support, last demand in the market, and the market stops selling off. Okay, that's kind of what I'm hoping for. So we're looking for this. All right, below 42, we're heading down to the 41, guys. It's almost like no brainer. Use 41.50, 50 points movements as we watch this, right? Now, I'm going to point out a couple tickers today that have earnings, and it's very important to understand, right? One of them is going to be Amazon this week. I honestly have a target of this 26.70 area, even 26 for put play, but we're at this demand area where the market is very bearish, and all eyes on Amazon, Google, and Microsoft that have potential to move the markets. These are real big name guys. Okay, so we have Google. Google finally broke down this demand right here last week, broke that 25, and it's now heading into earnings, heading into a stock split. So my honest opinion, I can honestly see Google around 2K, as crazy as that sounds, or even 22. Okay, so these are the two targets on the bearish side for Google if that were to happen. Because honestly, if you think about it, somebody out there wants a good dip buy for Google. It's gonna have a stock split soon, and Google in general, I gotta admit, it always beats earnings and it always pumps, right? The difference now is that the sentiment, the rate hikes, the inflation, the recession, all that fear is driving into a lot of these earnings, and it may actually bring a lot of stuff down. As hard to believe or even say it or to think about it, it's almost true. Okay, but we won't know. Okay, earnings is a gamble, 100% lotto. If this thing goes up and down, we don't know. Some of that stuff is in the back end, and we don't have control over it, right? All we can do is sit back and watch. And if you're in it, good luck if you're in puts, or good luck if you're in calls, whatever the case may be. just know that what's going to happen will move this market. So Google does have a stock split in July, and when that happens, Google will get more attention. But honestly, if this thing can just drop down here into the stock split, that would be very, very awesome, because now everybody's going to try to load up on some more Google shares for the long term. And it's going to be the same thing with Amazon, guys. Amazon's going to have that stock split too. So if they can just bring this down just a bit further on 6.6, this thing is going to split, and it's going to be good for the companies, guys, like for real. Okay, now again, I'm not sitting here and saying that it's going to continue down for that reason, but just stating a lot of the bearish sentiments and the facts that's going on in the market is very, very bad, right? Let's take a look at Microsoft, right? Microsoft is not heading into a stock split, but again, we're kind of at the bottom of demand right here, like the last of it right here. And again, there's not a lot of structure here for Microsoft. All this thing is a nice trend to the upside, nice staircase pattern, and we didn't really cool off anywhere. So Microsoft has the tendencies of killing premiums, guys. Okay, if you don't know what that means, if you go back and look at all the earnings, it's known for being flat. Okay, it doesn't move much, but be aware that it can rally. Okay, just because of the levels that we're at, but it could drop even further as well. But again, I personally will not be doing anything for earnings. Because even let's go look at the last one. Look at this last one, right? It was almost a freaking data killer. This thing dropped way down here, so whoever grabbed calls didn't really do much here. But you go look at all the previous earnings, and they're all like flat. They kind of killed a lot of premiums. So just for my past experience, of course. So I don't know. Be aware, guys, that these do have earnings coming up, and a lot of these, like I said, they're beat down to a pulp, honestly. And it's almost like you want to grab puts, but you don't, because they're so low, and all your indicators are pointing to the downside, and everything is screaming freaking buy me right now, but you don't want to buy because it has earnings or it's too low and you don't want to grab puts any further. But these stocks will do whatever the heck they want with or without us, guys. So just remember that, right? So Facebook is all eyes on me again. I don't have any opinion on this, to be honest. I think a lot of these companies are at great buy levels, if you ask me, for the long term, to buy shares, equity, for your accounts. Again, it's just my opinion, guys. I'm not telling you guys what to buy or anything, but if you call yourself an investor, if you call yourself somebody who wants to invest and grow, now is the perfect time to start looking for shares again, because everything is coming down aggressively in the markets, which is good. Okay, you guys may be scared of that, or you guys may be scared of NQ dropping as well. But in general, guys, if let's just say, for example, you have like $100 to spare that you want to invest for your future, what you do is you buy something that costs about $10, and then invest the other 10, and then invest the other 10 until you get to the full 100 of a position that you really want to invest in. You load up and you add into something that you truly believe in has value in the future, right? So you want that $100 to grow and work for you, not to hold account something, and then a month later this thing is down to the ground, and you're like 50% down, and then you cut your loss, and then you check 2 months later, and the next thing you know, you're at break even, or you would have been break even, but you decided to cut your position because you went too heavy in the beginning. So always start loading up on things that make sense. I think Disney is a great opportunity as well. Short term, I think we still do come down just a bit, but again, there's tons of opportunities for shares and stuff like that. Disney, PayPal as well. Like, look at all this demand here on PayPal at this like 70 level, right? The 72, this 80, even what is this? 88, 90. These levels are amazing for PayPal. Again, only if you believe in the company and in the future growth of it, whatever the case may be. But be wise, guys. You just know that this market is going to move on earnings today. It's gonna move on Google, Microsoft, Facebook, and Amazon, guys. So These have huge highlights this week. Like I said, I really hope we hold here in the market. And if we do drop down, it's going to be because some of those earnings missed. I think Google's one of the biggest ones along with Amazon. But like I said, I'm a little bearish on both of them. And the only reason I say that is because we do have a stock split coming, and they would want to drop it just a bit further in order to get some great opportunities to dip by those things, and then look for a potential reversal in the market in the next 6 months or so. But until we get there, we'll have a different conversation. But for now, it's just about the earnings, about the volatility that's happening in the markets, and understanding like what's where we're at, right? So I'm expecting the lows of this 41.50, okay, by the end of the week, and 41.20, so about 41. Like I said, if we come down here on Friday and we're at 41, I'm buying a call position here for SPX or SPY, whichever one it may be. And then right below is going to be my stop loss. I legit have no reason to hold it if it drops below 41. Like I said, I can't control what happens overnight, over the weekend, to be precise. But I can definitely understand the risk and the reward that this may have. So I'm hoping, like I said, that we hold here. And then we don't drop any further than that 41. So if we can just range here and then find value, create value, I think this would be amazing. Do something like this, okay? So this kind of be like a general idea. Call it whatever you want. I know some of you guys say inverse head and shoulders, but the head and shoulders pattern already played from the top side to the bearish side, guys, okay? So just look for a nice range to hold here for 41. And then as we continue to build in the next few months, guys, start looking, like I said, for shares and equity to build portfolios that make sense, okay? So just want to give you a quick update on the market, guys. I think everything is still doing great, and you can definitely grab plays to the upside, to the downside. Lots of opportunities intraday with patterns and things like that. So be aware, guys. Highlights again: Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Amazon that have earnings this week. So good luck with your gambling. Good luck with your lottos, guys. I hope you guys make tons of money. And if you lose, well, you live to fight another day, right? So either way, stay safe, guys. Manage your positions properly. Stay green, and don't invest what you don't believe in. Okay, invest in what you believe in, and that's how you would manage your risk tolerance. All right, guys. I'll see you on the next one, and yeah, stay green.